Hi, welcome to my knitting vlog. My name is Annika. I'm starting again my knitting vlog, hopefully. I really don't know what to say and actually how to start. I haven't really planned this. I do have a few ideas, but I'm not sure I'm courageous enough to start with those. We'll see. I'll get a bit of coffee first. So, like I said, it's been a while, I think 3 years since I last filmed anything. And yeah, a lot of things and stuff happened since. I started designing more. I used to work for a yarn shop as a content creator. Now I'm a free agent. And yeah, I should create content more. Maybe we can start with what I'm wearing. I'm not sure if this is gonna be a sort of traditional episode to show you what I've knitted, what I'm planning to knit, what yarn acquisitions I've done, and so far. I think I've grown out of those, but still, of course, I would like to show you what I've knit and what I design. So this is the Diamonds and Rust sweater. It seems that I'm knitting one of these every year, either a sweater or slipover version or vest. I still don't have a pattern. The first one I made in 2020. I think it was the first COVID year. Hooray! But that one unfortunately didn't survive. For some reason the yarn combination that I chose didn't work, and it started to smell very weird after I blocked it and, well, washed it and blocked it. So I had to get rid of it. Then I made this one. But this yarn combination works. This is Sandnes Garn Sunday and Thin Silk Mohair. And just for the record, none of this is sponsored unless I say so, which is, well, almost non-existent. So these are yarns that are, in my opinion, readily available almost anywhere, and they are, well, hard to say what's affordable to people nowadays, but more in the affordable range. The Sunday, just a second, I'll grab some other color. The Sunday is a fingering weight merino, comes in tons of shades, and the Thin Silk Mohair is silk and mohair with some wool in it. I'm not gonna list all the yarn information. Just go to Sandnes Garn's website and check it out, because they have tons of yarns, and yeah, let's face it, the world is full of yarns, so it would take a while to list everything that I show you. What else? Oh yeah, like I said, I'm making one every year, either a slipover or a sweater version. So the second, well, actually third thing that I made was a slipover. This is also the same yarn combination. Why not? I mean, it works. So it's knitted bottom up. I know people are terrified when someone mentions bottom up, but I don't really understand why. Maybe it's the fact that I've been knitting for a very long time, plus 30 years, since I was 10, I think. So I don't mind knitting bottom up. Plus the thing is that if you are knitting a cabled lace thing, it's much more easier to establish the pattern at the bottom and then knit up before you actually do the neck and shoulder seams and separating the arms. You can, well, in the sweater and slipover version, you get to knit everything in the round, so it's easy. Yes, so this was the second version. Pattern still coming up. I have to figure out a few things, like how to grade, how to add maybe more cables for the larger sizes. We'll see about that. But I couldn't resist when I saw this new colorway in Sunday and Thin Silk Mohair. Yeah, it might be a bit funny looking on the camera, but it's a really bright yellow. So this is the second slipover, and now I'm thinking about making not a sweater but a cardigan, a v-neck maybe, and a crew neck. So that leads me to maybe what I actually want to talk about is why I started designing. I think I mentioned it already in one of the previous episodes that I'm not sure I'm gonna leave on my channel. And why I'm making the things that I'm making. Well, I suppose it's simple. I realized that I wanted knits in my wardrobe that will stand the test of time. And many of the patterns out there are way too trendy for my liking, and I don't think that they would be still contemporary in 5 years. Now you have all these huge oversized European shoulder sweaters, which is fine if you're into them, but they're really not for me. So I thought that maybe I want to knit, at least for myself, and design things that you wouldn't necessarily know from what decade they are from. Or maybe, yeah, that's part of the reason why I started designing, that I couldn't find stuff that I like myself. I also like stuff to be more fitted, knits to be more fitted than the current trend. I rarely look good in things that have 20 centimeter positive ease or more. Of course, you can always make a smaller size, but still, I don't really think that the idea then comes across if you just make the same drop shoulder sweater tinier. Well, you never know, I could try. But then also, like I said, I've been knitting for 30 plus years, so I thought that I might challenge myself with something new. I think I started with socks and smaller accessories. I still like socks. I've knit and designed plenty of colorwork socks and other. Maybe I'll talk about them later on. And I still love colorwork. That's one of my favorite way of knitting. But occasionally I want to do something else, like a cabled sweater, bottom up. What else? I also like to pay attention to details. I don't just put stuff there to annoy knitters. Yes, like with this sweater, it has tubular bind off, tubular cast on. It does have sort of a short row construction. What else does it have? Yeah, of course the sleeves are knitted top down. I mean, I don't resent sewing, but if I can avoid it, then I don't do it. Yeah. What else can I say about my design philosophy? Probably tons, but right now maybe that's the thing that I want to say, that I hope that I do design things that will be future classics. Time will tell. And yeah, I also have an opinion about knitting those trendy sweaters with the newest yarn. Maybe I'm just jealous. Maybe I'm just jealous of the designers that sell tons of patterns and tons of patterns of sweaters that look like a sack, that look like definitely won't be lasting for more than a few months. But yeah, I suppose, like everyone, I am entitled to my opinion, and you are entitled to be knitting those. So there is that. But yeah, I would still urge you to consider when the next It sweater drops. Do you really need it? Or do you just want to be part of that group that knits the same thing that everybody sees on Instagram? Yeah, I do understand the allure of it. I'll grab a bit more coffee, and I think I should rename this channel The Opinionated Knitter or something in that line. But I think Elizabeth Zimmerman already has that title, or had that title. So yeah, a bit more coffee. Yeah, sometimes it's also good to pause and rethink things that you want to say. But yeah, one of the things I want to say about the Diamonds and Rust sweater is that the original one was knitted in a rusty color. This is not it. This is again Sunday and Tim Silk mohair. And at that time I was listening to a lot of Joan Baez, or however you pronounce her name. songs, and she has a song called Diamonds and Rust, where she sings about her relationship with Bob Dylan. It's a lovely song. I encourage you to listen to it. So yeah, I bought some yarn that I could substitute the original one with, but and I hate when yarn producers do this. This is a discontinued colorway, so I frankly don't know what to do with it. I mean, I still love the colorway, and I have, I think, 7 balls of Sunday and the same amount of Tin Silk Mohair. But I just don't think that it's a good idea to design anything with a discontinued color, because people want to knit from the same color that they see online. So yeah, back to trendy knits again. And yes, it matters. You would think that it doesn't, but I talked with a yarn shop owner, and she said that nowadays knitters are not, well, she didn't use the word brave, but I can, brave enough to knit in anything else than the color that the designer chose. So if you see beige sweaters, people want to knit beige sweaters, which is a shame. I'll get to beige maybe in another episode. I have a lot to say about that as well. But yeah, so now I have these yarn balls so that I can maybe test the cardigan. Yeah, and just to be on the safe side, well, safe side, while I was still working for the yarn shop, I bought some other colorway. I think I bought the Tin Silk Mohair actually, and I bought this later on. This is just the basic gray because I love basic grays. It's 1042 in case you're really that interested, but I think it's the lightest gray that they have. And I'm not sure if I want to make a crew neck sweater out of it in the same fashion, or the V-neck sweater. We'll see. I'm also contemplating on maybe doing a burgundy sweater, because burgundy is now the rage, which is funny because I've been using the burgundy color for many years, so it's a classic. It comes and goes like with everything else. Yeah, a little bit of more cold coffee. It's actually an instant coffee. I thought that I would never drink one of those, but this is spiced with cardamom. Yeah, so it works. Maybe I should actually dial back on what I said before and actually show what I'm knitting at the moment. I wasn't planning to, but I'm just making basic socks. It's October after all. So, basic socks in Regia Tweed 4-ply. This is the grey one, as you can see, and there's nothing really to write home about on 2mm needles because I knit rather loosely. And yeah, I mentioned Elizabeth Zimmerman, and I mention her again. She said that if you knit too tightly, then she encourages you to loosen up, and I encourage you to do the same. Life is too short to knit too tightly. So yeah, eye of partridge, heel flap, French heels, 3x1 ribbing, and this will be in a very huge project that I will talk about later on. Yes, this yarn was gifted from Saschenmeier. Absolutely no idea how to pronounce that, but something in those lines. The manufacturer of the yarn. I like Regia 4-ply. It's one of my go-to basic affordable yarns again. I think I moved away from very expensive hand-dyed yarns mostly. If I use them, I use them for socks in very small quantities. It's not that I think that I can't afford it, maybe that's part of it, but I just think that I these days like more the factory dyed stuff that is readily available and more affordable to everybody. So there is that. Yeah, I also know that people these days with their knitting vlogs, they have these very, very, very long episodes, like from an hour to 1.5 to 2 hours, which I think is ridiculous. I don't want to be talking to you for 2 hours. And I also know that since the first time I started, the channels have just, I mean, not multiplied by thousands, probably more than thousands. There are just so many knitting vlogs. So if you find mine, then great. Yeah, I don't think that I'm gonna be overly cheerful. That's just not me. I'm probably more of a grumpy knitter. Maybe I should also name the channel the Grumpy Knitter. But yeah, what I actually should name the channel is the Monogamous Knitter, or Confessions of the Monogamous Knitter, because I tend to knit only 1 or 2 things at a time. I have those socks and I have a sweater on my needles. Again, bottom-up sweater in colorwork. Oh my god. Mind-blowing, isn't it? So yeah, I'll probably talk about the monogamy later on. Or why not now? I realized a few years ago that there's no point in having 10 VIPs. They just bother me and I want to finish things so I get to wear them and show you guys. So that's what I did, and it actually took a lot of stress away about knitting, which, yeah, is also part of maybe being mindful of what you knit. I don't like the word mindful. Yeah, I don't know why. It makes me feel, or it reminds me of weight. I don't know. Well, I have nothing against hippies, but maybe false prophets, preaching about mindfulness and how that solves everything. It doesn't, but I would prefer that people would be a bit more mindful of what they're knitting and how, and what they're buying into and why. But yeah, I do get the part that people occasionally get excited about the newest release of the It designer, so that's okay. I used to be one of those people, but then I started designing myself. And like I said, maybe I'm just jealous because I'm not yet the It designer. Probably will never be. Time will tell. Yeah, more cold coffee. It's also weird to talk to a camera in English since such a long time. But yeah. I'm sorry if you hear a background noise. There was an accident and flat behind that wall. So they're drying the floor now. But I thought that I shouldn't postpone recording these episodes for longer. Yeah, I'm looking for words. That's why I'm looking this way or that way and rolling my eyes. Sorry about that. Well, not really that sorry. And maybe I should sit up more straight. I'm getting a bit hot in the sweater actually, although it's the beginning of October and the central heating is on, but it's not working yet. So we only have 18 degrees Celsius. So this is actually quite comfy, but maybe I'm a bit nervous about talking to the camera. Yeah, future knitting plans. I have tons. I've knitted also tons of things that I have to show you, but actually my knitting plan is to write up the patterns and to grade them. I'm trying to learn grading and it's not really that simple. I mean, Excel helps you up to a certain point, but then understanding how a garment fits different size bodies, that's something that I struggle with, and probably many other designers. I mean, some are just okay to grade the patterns and then don't care about if it hangs somewhat loosely or it doesn't fit, but I don't want to be one of those persons. So yeah, I'm trying to learn grading and to write better patterns. There's so much that goes into designing besides just knitting and getting wonderful yarns and whatnot. So there is that. I would say if you want to be a knitwear designer, don't do something else. It's a long and rocky road, and very few are successful. And the most successful take up so much of the market that it's just, occasionally it feels really overwhelming to try to put out anything. And it's also, it's underwhelming, I think that's the word. You put so much effort into a pattern, you launch it, and then no matter what you do, it sells like, I don't know, 10 copies, which is like nothing. So maybe I need more followers, maybe I don't know anything about marketing. Probably that's true, somewhat. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe my patterns are shit. Can you say that on YouTube? We'll see. You tell me. If you bought my pattern, then let me know. Did you like it? Did you manage to knit something out of it or not? I think that's it for now. I've been talking about many things, and maybe is it the word, elaborate on those more specifically in the next episode. So goodbye for now. Have a good day. Bye.